Today I'm going to talk to you for a few minutes on the seed of a woman. The seed of a woman. And we're going to take a look at Genesis 3, verse 14 through 17. And when it comes up on the screen, please stand. Let's read this, and so I can get into this, because I want to celebrate. This message is a message to celebrate the mothers and the women and the sisters and the daughters in this house today. The seed of a woman. Read with me. Let's go. So the Lord God said to the serpent, because you have done this, you are cursed more than all cattle and more than every beast of the field. On your belly you shall go, and you shall eat dust all the days of your life. And I will put enmity or hostility, you guys, that's what that word is. And I will put enmity or hostility between you and the woman, and between your seed and her seed. And he shall bruise your head, and you shall bruise his heel. To the woman he said, I will greatly multiply your sorrows and your conception. In pain you shall bring forth children. Your desire shall be for your husband, and he shall rule over you. Then to Adam he said, because you have hated the voice of your wife, and have eaten from the tree of which I commanded you. Now I need to stop a minute, because I'm not going to be able to cover every point. But you need to know that part of this story is fabricated. Listen, because you have heeded the voice of your wife. Someone was starting to play games with the divine feminine because they had problems with you. Mothers, daughters, sisters, they had problems with you and did not want to hear your voice. Someone was trying to stop you because they knew the importance of who you were. Are y'all here? Didn't want to heeded the voice of your wife, and have eaten from the tree I commanded you, saying, you shall not eat of it. Cursed is the ground for your sake. In toil you shall eat of it all the days of your life. You may be seated. The seed of a woman. I read all that, but I'm just really primarily interested in the verse that spoke about what would happen with the enemy. And I wanted you to see that it was the seed of the serpent and the seed of the woman that would be in conflict. You got it? The matriarchal cultures of the past was replaced by the Hindu and monotheistic books of religions used today. These books have been mistranslated, misinterpreted, and plagiarized, as you know, and it was for the purpose of control. The attacks was on the original seed, and the tactic of divide and conquer was used. Kingdom divided against itself cannot stand. A house divided against itself cannot stand. A people divided against themselves cannot stand. And so the enemy knew this and used that tactic early on. This attack we are focusing on today is with the goddess mind precept of matriarchal cultures. Turn over time to a patriarchal culture and society. See, our cultures back in the day were matriarchal. But because of the devil, I'm talking about the devil in those that fell, because of the enemy, not appreciating the woman, not appreciating this mother, this divine feminine that would bring the people into the earth that would deal with this enemy. It was changed from a matriarchal society to patriarchal. Part of the problem with that, and the reason why we were in a matriarchal society, is because you know who the mother is, but you may not know who the daddy is. But it's for certain you'll know who the mother is. And so this is part of the reason why we had matriarchal societies. Are y'all still there? And so we're talking about this goddess mind precept of matriarchal cultures, that the enemy turned into patriarchal, man rule. That's why when you read the scriptures, what do you read? Where it says man, it should be humanity. But someone didn't want you to recognize your value and your importance. Someone didn't want you to recognize this. Originally, our mothers, sisters, daughters were viewed as tribal leaders. And the men were raised up as rulers. Are y'all there? Tribal leaders. The woman would lead, the man would rule. And you see this in your house today. Most men that are married, who's leading and running the house? It's by design. The problem comes in when you guys forget what your roles and positions are. And because you give way to allow her to lead, if she doesn't recognize her position, she'll start wanting to dominate, and nothing can happen without her. And if you don't want to see something done a certain way, she will disagree with you. And many times our sisters and our mothers and our daughters have to recognize what the real position is, because you have the leadership of the house. You decorate the house. Someone was asking me about landscape yesterday, Jerry, and I told him, hey, I got to talk to my wife, man. I don't do none of that kind of stuff. I'm not trying to figure out, do we need grass or whatever. You know, that's up to her. I just live here and enjoy this house that she has turned into a home. Are y'all there? So I stay in my lane. I ain't trying to lead that house. I'm doing my best to provide and bring the things that are needful in the house, and then she determines what needs to be done with it. Ain't that how most households run? So she's already in the lead position. The sister just got to be careful that she ain't trying to take over and control the ruler. It's got to be balanced. Somebody say balance. So these enemies of the original seed and the goddess principle of guardianship began to view our women as harlots and felt it was their responsibility to get rid of these so-called harlots that were in fact the female tribal leaders of the old culture. See, that's why in this ministry, we take you back to how things were originally. Because I'm not going to let our enemy hand us something and we keep on perpetuating what was handed to us, knowing that if there's a version, there's got to be an original. And so we got to get the original and make sure we're bringing those things that are original and not going off of something that Rome and Greeks and Hindus gave us and said, here. So we have to deal with that, because many people don't really get it, because we have been so indoctrinated with the wrong story. Are y'all still there? We've been, some of you are, I talk to you about this stuff all the time. I talk to you about how things were mistranslated. Anybody that does any kind of studying in the Bible and then any kind of work in seminary anyway, you know the Bible's out of order. Why do you have a Bible that's out of order? And just think about that. Why? And the people that put it together know it's out of order. There's a Genesis story in Jeremiah, which tells us that there was people here before us. And there's just some things that we are so ignorant of because somebody gave us something and we just ran with it. Y'all following me? Okay, I promise you, I'm not going to get too deep with this today because I want to go home and eat and enjoy my wife like y'all. But you need to understand what I'm doing is I want to give you a foundation of why you are so hated so we can get to the good part. And so the enemy saw and called our women harlots, because they saw the goddess, they saw how we were toward our women. They saw the woman sitting next to the Pharaoh on the throne. They knew that we had a leader and a ruler that did this thing together. That's why you can look at the thrones in Egypt and you can see that she has been blown off or removed. They couldn't handle you.